Hello and welcome to another episode of Artificial Aviation. In today's episode, I'll be doing my first ever solo flight. No tutorials, just me and the airplane. Join me as we fly from Lydd Airport in the southeast of England, all the way up to Shoreham, also known as Brighton City Airport on the south coast. Here, we'll be in the Piper Arrow III from Just Flight. You've seen me fly this before. I use this plane in my Bora Bora special, and it's going to be my go-to for single-engine VFR flying. I will use other aircraft in the future when I study IFR and when I also look at multi-engine and things like that. But for now, this is my go-to. I'm doing this flight today because I want to give my newly minted VFR skills a try, but I also just really want to take a flight. I want to go somewhere other than the airport. True story, this isn't actually my first go at this recording. I did try this flight before, but I had some, shall we say, issues. Okay, so instantly I'm having a visibility problem, even though I calibrated cloud level at 4500. So I think for this flight we'll ignore the fact that I'm breaking the law and we'll keep climbing. And I am just basically flying into cloud. Okay, one moment internet, let me fix this. Okay, you didn't see that internet, I fixed the cloud. That is one of the benefits of flying in the sim. Okay, getting blown around like a hula hand here, let's get it back online. Oof, careful. Don't want to flare, just... Come on, don't rush it, don't rush it, don't rush it. Find the power lever. I'm going to execute a go around. Whoa.
Piper 9R Bravo, Foxtrot, contact. Ground on 123.155.
Okay, that was awful. Look at us. I mean, we're down safely, but we missed the runway. That was just shocking. Because of visual flight rules, we need to maintain a certain separation from the clouds. And in order to maintain that, I need them at a certain level. So I've set that properly today. I thought we'd try a cloudy sky today because, oh hello, look, someone else is flying. They look like they're having fun. But yeah, so we've tried blue skies before, so I thought we'd try something different and have some clouds. Luckily, the legal kind, the kind that we are not obstructed our view by. So, without further ado, let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is get the airplane started. So we're going to go through our pre-flights, being careful not to put the airplane in slew mode like I've done before. Right, we need a radio. Let's put that over here. He might actually be coming into land here. Could be why he's flying over. Interesting. Let's get our checklist out. Checklist. After I recorded last week as well, I did some graphical tuning because I've had some issues with the VR lately where it's been a bit, I hasten to use the word wibbly, but it's been wibbly. You might notice something different about my version of this airport, and that is because I am using the Burning Blue Designs version of Lydd. Link in the description. Again, I just record YouTube videos for a hobby at the moment, so that there's no sponsorship or anything like that. I just thought I'd shout it out because I really like it. It's an airport that, you know, it's really good. It's on the southeast coast, gives you access to Europe, gives you access to other airports on the coast of England. So if you like flying in English countryside, it's a great airport to have. I will pull up our kneeboard today. Okay, I need to get rid of this tab menu, preferably without launching the plane up in the air. There we go. Going to go through pre-flights, Control surfaces, check. I don't normally do this one, but we'll have a bit of fun with it today. Lights. That means we have to turn the battery on. Let's hop outside the plane a second. But we've got to remember to take our tie downs off as well. So if we turn our landing light on, landing light works. Turn on our beacon, that works. And then if we turn on our anti-collision, yeah, anti-collision works. I'm not technically supposed to use that here, I don't think, but we've done it. Oh, navigation lights, which means we need to turn radio lights on. We should have white light at the back, telling someone we're moving away from them. Green light on that wing, and red light on that wing. Perfect. Lights all seem to be working. Check and check. Let's get that battery turned off before we use up all our juicy volts that we've got in our battery. There we go. Tie downs removed. And this is what I always forget because I never do this checklist. And chocks removed. Let's get those out of there as well. Check, check. Tow bar removed. We don't actually have it on at the moment, so we're good there. Engine oil door is closed. That is confirmed. Oil quantity, check. How much oil quantity have we got? We have got, I believe that says 8 quarts. What should it be? At least 6, so we're good. Cabin door should be closed and latched. That is latched and closed. Yeah, good there. Baggage door closed. We need to go outside to confirm that for the minute. Yeah, in real life I just look back over my oh no, see, look, you can't see it because it's behind the door. Hey look, we got some bags. Isn't that sweet? Look at that. Look at that attention to detail. Loving the baggage there. So we're going on our holidays down to Brighton. Right, before the engine starts, circuit breakers should all be in. Yeah. Circuit breakers is in. Alternate air should be off. Maximum RPM. Max RPM. The proper RPM lever. Fuel selector should be on the fullest tank, so I'm going to move that over to the right hand tank for safety. Right, we've got a cold engine, so we're doing a cold engine start. Throttle open 1/2. So half an inch, not half an inch back there. Battery switch should be on. Got a little binding for it here. Battery on. Alternator on. Check. Beacon on. Check. Navigation lights on. They are on because the radio lights are on. Auxiliary boost pump to the on position, which it's currently on anyway because I see off there. So we're on. Oh no, sorry, it's off. Check it. Is that on or off? Right, that's off. That's on. So that's on. That's off. Right, so, okay, fuel pump is on. Okay, that was a bit hectic. Mixture rich until flow peaks, then cut off. So we're going to watch our fuel pressure there, if you can see that. Right, I'm going to run that up. Fuel pressure is going to come up. It's peaked. And I'm going to put it back there to cut. Well, it says to cut off. Okay. Propeller area is clear. There are no small children, dogs, other things lurking around my propeller, which is good. And then ignition starts, and it says goes the mixture goes to rich when the engine starts. So we'll keep that on minimum for now. Okay, let's make the call. Clear prop. good. Parking brake's definitely on, so we don't start launching off down the runway. Okay, good. Propeller's running. Okay, good. Mixture rich when engine starts. Engine started. So I'm going to run the mixture up to rich. We're currently registered at just a bit above 0 feet, so that's above ground level, not above sea level. Engine start successful. Check. Taxiing is next. So let's get this little window shut because it's a grey grizzly day and I don't want to be a part of that. So, true story, I'm yet to fly in the rain, so I would at some point love to orchestrate a rainy flight, but I don't know if I'm allowed to do that VFR yet because of the visibility, so that might have to wait until I learn IFR. Right, landing light as required. Yes, we're going to want that for taxiing, so landing light on. Avionics on. Right, so we need the volumes up for these. Okay, so avionics are on. Radio set. Transponder. Oh, no, transponder's not set. Set it to out. I believe 1200 is the code we should be using for VFR. The reality is I have no idea, but that's vaguely what I remember it being. Altimeter setting, check. So what we're going to need to do now is pull up our kneeboard, and we're going to need to load up ATIS so we get some information that we can use to set our instruments to. So, okay, so we are at Echo Golf Mike Delta today. Okay, tune EGMD ATIS on 129230. Let's do that. Is that 12 knots?
Sky condition, ceiling 1,800 feet broken. Temperature,
Ceiling is 1,800 feet broken. Okay, I think something's got broken with the weather because that's not what I selected, so let's find out.
Landing and departing runway 21. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft...
Right, let's turn that off for a second. So, that doesn't sound right to me because that's not what I specified with the weather. So let's have a look at the weather setting and see how badly that's got messed up. Yeah, this doesn't remember my set. That's not what I set in the weather setting. So here's a bug. When I set it in the menu, this was not what I set. It's not persisting my weather settings from the menu to here. So because I'm going to be flying at 4,500 and I believe it's 1,000 feet separation I need to maintain. No, it's 500 feet beneath the cloud. I'm going to set like 5,276. Hey there, I just wanted to stop a minute and correct a glaring error here. I'm not recording a polished final product, but rather journaling my own learning journey within the sim. Because of this, from time to time, errors will end up being recorded. Rather than simply edit it out, I decided to leave it in, but correct it. That way, I'm not just documenting the right answer, but also the process. Anyway, let's get this cleared up. It is my understanding that the following criteria is accurate in the UK, where this flight is taking place. In uncontrolled airspace Class G and below flight level 100, which is 10,000 feet above mean sea level, but above 3,000 feet above mean sea level, aircraft must keep 1,000 feet vertical separation from clouds. With this in mind, 1,000 feet is the correct separation to keep, not 500 as stated in the video. So with that cleared up, back to the episode. Okay, so it's a good job I came and looked at it because that's very broken. The wind speed is far too much for me to handle right now. So this is something interesting. I'm going to turn the wind down today. I know what you're thinking, yawn. But the problem is that I've not had training on how to deal with wind on landings yet. Okay, so we fixed the weather now. So it means we're going to need to get new ATIS information because that stuff's now not in date / relevant. So if we turn that back up.
Niner 2. Temperature 15. Dew point
broken.
13.
That's much better. That's well within tolerance for what we're going to be flying today.
ILS runway 21 in use.
Okay, cool. So there's a little bug there to watch out for.
VFR aircraft say direction
Racking
of
up
flight.
those bugs.
All aircraft clear
Okay, we need to turn
00.
that off before I go mad.
Wind 269er at 5.
Just tune to ground.
Visibility.
Right, the next thing I'm going to do is 299.2 on the altimeter. That takes us to a proper ground level setting, which is good. 299.2, cool. We're set on the backup. It's very important to set the backup as well as the primary in case we have a failure. I mean, I haven't programmed one into the game, so we're not going to have a failure, but I like to do it anyway. Heading indicator set. So we currently have 130. I'd say that's about 130, almost dead on there. What's our heading indicator set to? 130 dead on. Okay, cool. That's set fine. Taxi area is clear, apart from our helpful airport staff here, which he likes to stand way too close, and it's a video game and I can't make him move, so... it was a simulator, sorry, and I can't make him move. Video game, how dare I?
November Kilo ready to copy.
Parking
IFR
brake
clearance
release and
to
brakes
Echo
test on
Golf
moving
Bravo
off.
November. Cessna Golf, Foxtrot Bravo November
Right, so
Kilo
we
is
need to
cleared
get permission
Echo
to
Golf Bravo
taxi
November
next.
Airport is filed.
So we're going to ask to depart straight out.
Ground Piper Golf Echo Niner, Bravo Foxtrot, ready to taxi straight out departure with Kilo.
Cessna Golf, Foxtrot Bravo November Kilo cleared to Echo Golf Bravo November Airport is filed. Takeoff runway 21
That's not
climb
us.
to maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 118 decimal for 75 squawk 5011.
Someone's being cleared out now.
Piper Golf Echo Niner Bravo
That's
Foxtrot
us.
taxi to and hold short of runway 21. Contact tower on 119 decimal
Right, so we've got permission to taxi now, and we need to contact tower when we're ready to get takeoff clearance. So we're going to be handed off from ground to tower. We're going to acknowledge that taxi clearance we got there.
Taxiing hold short runway 21 Piper Niner Bravo Foxtrot.
Eventually, I plan on tackling VATSIM. For anyone that doesn't know, that's like a real-life ATC. Like people actually go on and pretend to be ATC. So I'll be honest with you. When I had a stint at this last year, I did do a couple of flights like that, but I found it quite challenging. But I'm going to tackle it. I'm resolved to tackling it now. So there's someone taking off over there. Right. Well, let's follow them, shall we? Parking brakes we're going to release, and we're going to test that upon moving off. So here we go. Parking brake is off. Right, both brakes are good. I'm going to turn this thing using the brakes so we don't accidentally clip him. I'm going to mind this 172, but I'm presuming that's a 172. I don't want to slam into it at any rate, so let's get moving. I think what I could do is turning that down a little bit. I will taxi around here, trying not to blend or murderize anyone. Okay, this is good. Let's go. I apologize to anyone, by the way, if you're seeing any judderiness on the screen. I think that's one of the cons of VR. It takes, well, certainly in my experience, whether you've got an NVIDIA graphics card or AMD graphics card or whatever you've got, it takes so much work to get it running just how you want it. And the other frustrating thing is you can get it running almost perfectly, right? And then you can come onto sim the next week and you've got problems again, and you're like, what happened? Like, you're like, how did that happen? Where was the wind? 269, 5 at 269, so 269, 269 degrees, so that's 24, 25, 26, so it's facing back that way. So I'm just gonna pull up here for our run-up checks. So I'm gonna move this around here such that I will be able to, like this. Since we've gone a bit far with that. Now, I did read that you were supposed to do your run-up checks into the wind. That's close enough. Right, parking brake is set. I always get the pitot heat button wrong. Okay, so parking brake done. Test on moving off. Flight instrumentation and avionics check. instrumentation, compass, airspeed indicator, and attitude indicator. We know our heading indicator is working well. Airspeed indicator, well, I guess we won't know that till we start moving. An attitude indicator, yes, those all seem to be working fine. Right, ground checks. Parking brake is set. Mixtures full rich. Confirmed. Prop RPM lever set to max. Throttle's going to come up to 2000 RPM. Let's go through checks. Right, mag check. This is the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to drop down to left. We should notice no more than 150 RPM drop. That's pretty smooth because that was neither of those, and we should notice less than a 50 RPM difference between left and right, which that needle didn't move to my eye, so that's perfect. Back to both mags. Done that one, done that one. Both. That gauge, check. We have good suction between 4 and 6 is where we want it, so that's good. Oil pressures and temperatures. Oil pressure is good, oil temperature is good. Fuel pressure is also good. Didn't say fuel pressure, but I'm checking it anyway. Ammeter check. Yep, I've got juicy, delicious amps going in. Annunciators test. I got to stop checking ahead of myself. Test is good. Test is good. Let's get my knee ball out of the way for the moment because that's actually getting annoying. Prop lever exercise full forward, so we need to move that full forward now. So we've got full mani pressure up, full RPM, there we go. So, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pull the throttle right back. We're going to let the blade spin down. And then we're going to come full forward again. Good. Everything's good there. Alternate air is off. Well, I haven't turned it on and it hasn't accidentally come on, so that's good. Auxiliary boost pump off. Check. Fuel pressure, check that again now. Fuel pressure is stable, a decent RPM. So we need to move the engine idle down to 600, 650 RPM. Throttle, we're going to adjust back to 1200 RPM. So, if you're a real pilot, I'd be interested to know what tolerance there would you tolerate, and what would you, where would you draw the line and go, 700 RPM, I don't like that, let's taxi back and talk to our maintenance person. Right, 1200 RPM. Okay, 1200, there we go. Don't think we need to be that precise with it. So, before takeoff. So these are the checks that we're going to run on the way down, on the taxi down. So I'm going to pull the parking brake. Okay, I'm going to pump the right rudder pedal. I'm going to swing the airplane round now because we're ready to get going. We've been given clearance to taxi to runway 21, and that's where we're going to hold short and get permission to take off, so we're good there. We're looking left, looking right, so we always want to be looking. Make sure we don't run into anybody, because again, I appear to have left multiplayer on. That's good. Keeps me on my toes. Gives me things to look for. So we're going to go left here. Okay. Nice and slowly, not too fast. Right. I'm going to slow this taxi down now because I need to go through this check. So alternator on, batteries on. Check. Strobes on. Strobes are going on now. Strobes are on. Check. I'm not ticking these off because I want to concentrate on where I'm going whilst I'm doing this as well. Auxiliary boost pump on. Check. Ooh, straighten up. Okay, fuel selector, fullest tank. Check. Fuel Fuel selector, where do we get to? Fuel selector for this tank. I need to check that so I know where we are. Engine gauges. So I have got green oil pressure, green oil temps, green fuel pressure. Engine gauges look good. Got good fuel flow and manifold pressure, look good as well. So we're happy there. Mixture should be full rich. Mixture is full rich, so that's fine. That's good. Prop RPM, lever max RPM, flaps set and check. That's the one thing we haven't done. I'm scrolling all over the place here. So flaps.
Tower Cessna Golf, Foxtrot Bravo November Kilo, ready to copy IFR clearance to Echo Golf Bravo November.
I want to make sure that I've got
Cessna Golf,
1 degree of
Bravo
flaps for
November
taking
Kilo
off.
is
We don't
clear
need
to
too
Echo
many.
Golf Bravo November Airport
It's a
is
nice
filed.
long runway.
Takeoff runway
Trims
21
should be
climb
set
and
to
maintain
neutral.
6,000
They
feet.
are.
Departure frequency is 120.705 squawk.
Cabin door should be locked, closed and latched. Latched and closed. We are good. We're ready for takeoff. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up to the hold short line. I'm going to use this area here just to get a nice wide swing in it.
21 climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 118.475 squawk 5167.
Parking brake is on. We'll have pitot heat off and we're going to put it on once after takeoff. Right, we need to get our clearance in a second. There's no one behind us, so we don't need to rush too much. Tick for that. Right, ready for takeoff. Okay, we've got our takeoff checklist there. What we need access to here now is our instructions. So this is our instructions. The first thing we're going to do is climb off and take off and climb straight outwards towards the coastline. Climb 4,500 feet and head southwestwards following the coastline until you reach where Camber Beach meets Rye Harbour. So, Camber Beach. What I'm going to do is to stop the cheating from happening. Let's move this kneeboard up here. I'm going to turn off the airplane so we don't know where we are. What I'm then going to do is look at where we are. So we're going to be taking off out of here and we're going to make for the coast, and this is our first landmark that we're looking for. Now, the plan that I've got has us flying there, but there's no dead reckoning, so we need to find this purely by visual recognition. So we're looking for that where Rye Harbour juts out into the sea. Okay, cool. So that's our instructions. That's what we're going to follow. We're going to get our stopwatch ready on here. There we go. So we've got a stopwatch ready to time ourselves for our dead reckoning. Let's get our takeoff
Tower Piper
clips.
Golf Echo 9er Bravo Foxtrot ready at runway 21 departing.
Going to get rid of the little tablet here as well.
Piper Golf Echo 9er Bravo Foxtrot altimeter 29.9er
2992 is programmed in.
Straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 21.
Takeoff runway 21.
Cleared for takeoff
Takeoff
runway
runway
21 Piper 9er Bravo Foxtrot.
Cool. Alright then, let's go folks. Let's get ourselves out onto the runway. I pushed the wrong button again. Don't know why I'm doing that this week. I just like to give myself a whole new host of problems. Right, let's look right. Let's look left. There's no aircraft currently flying in that I can see, so we're taxiing onto the runway. I'm going to taxi right to the end of the runway and then turn around so we get the longest run up possible. I know we're only a little airplane, but we want to make sure we've got room in case we have any dramas or disasters. Okay, so there we go. So let's slow it down a little bit. Let's turn it around here. Okay, we've done that. Let's turn it in. Getting a little bit used to these rudder pedals now, which is good. Parking brake on. So, final takeoff check. Landing lights are on, fuel pump is on, beacons, anti-collisions are on, pitot heat staying off until we have altitude. Positive rate of climb. Okay, flaps are in, trims are set. We're good to go. Let's go.
300 feet with Kilo to land.
Parking brake is off.
Juliet November X-ray Zulu Tower. Altimeter 29.9er 21269er.
Throttle's coming in.
Fly left traffic runway 21.
Wind's off about 45 degrees to my right, coming in at me, so...
Ready to copy.
Right, throttle's open. Airspeed is alive. So we have 65 knots and rotate.
Departure frequency is 120.705 squawk 0501.
Okay, we have a positive rate of climb. Landing gears coming in. Oh, flaps. I didn't mean to do that with the flaps.
Traffic runway 21 November X-ray Zulu.
It's alright, it's just a case of me forgetting the buttons. So flaps stay in until 300 feet. Passing 200 now.
Uniform Tango cleared to Lima Foxtrot Echo Foxtrot Airport is filed. Takeoff runway 21 climb.
Accelerate to 78 knots. So we're going much faster than that, so we can increase our rate of climb because we need to reduce our speed. 300 feet is passed. We're going to drop the flaps in now. Flaps are in. Requesting any landings here. Right, there's the coastline that I need to make for, so I'm going to start my turn now because I want to get up on this coastline. Still going quite fast, so I'm going to increase my rate of climb again. Balancing the slip indicator on that turn there. Cloud level is looking good, the wind farm is there. Which is where Canberra Beach meets Rye Harbour. So we remember we were looking for that little jut out into the sea for the harbour. So I want to put the coastline on my left here because it's easiest to see. And we're climbing to 4,500 feet. And that is because, as we learned in our lesson last week, if we're heading on the west side, it's an even altitude, and if we're on the east side, it's an odd altitude. Right, there is where Rye Harbour meets Canberra Beach, so we're going to make for that. I'm going to try and cross it where the beach actually then touches the harbour more or less, so I can just see it out of my left window here. So this is probably actually quite perfect for what I want. Passing 2,000 feet. As we're coming up here, what I'm going to do now, pitot heat's going on, landing lights coming off. Right, I've been approved for a frequency change, so we'll get that acknowledged.
Tower Piper Golf Echo 9er Bravo Foxtrot frequency change.
Coming up past up to 3,000 feet. Getting up to our desired altitude. We can afford to pitch up a little bit more, to be honest, and do a steeper climb because airspeed is right where I need it to be, so we're good there. As we pass 3,000 feet, we can trim out the mixture, make the engine more efficient. That's 75 knots, so I need to level out a little bit now to balance that airspeed. There we go, 75. Right, I'm going to turn that down a little bit because it's quite distracting. I don't have to have it on full volume, just loud enough that I hear it if they announce me. Ooh, coming up, I panicked on the yoke there. Right, this is important. So as we come over, I'm going to get rid of the checklist now. As we come over the harbour, I want to straighten up and aim for this bit of coast here. We're going for our next landmark. Following the coast in a southwesterly direction, let's move this up here. Let's move this over here, sorry. 4,000, which is coming over the harbour now. So continue following the coast in a southwesterly direction, well, it's actually westerly, until you reach Hastings Town. You should notice the pier jutting out into the sea after the beach. It's 9 nautical miles at 110 ktas, that's 4 minutes 54 seconds on the stopwatch. So as we come over the harbour now, coming up on 4,500 feet, so we can level out now. We'll play with the trim in a minute. I have an aircraft over there directly ahead of me. And I need to be mindful of him. We don't want to have a collision. I appear to be higher than him, so that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to start my stopwatch now. There we go. And we're going for 4 minutes and 54 seconds until we reach the harbour. So we want to put the power till we reach the pier, so at Hastings. So we'll put that down there. What we want to do now is we're going a little bit too high, so we want to level out the power now to a cruise power. We're a little bit too high, so we need to trim out some of that altitude now. Keeping an eye on him, looking around, making sure there's no one else I can run into. So I'm going to take more power out because I need to reduce my altitude here and get myself balanced out. Speed is at just over 110. Okay, that's perfect. So we're going to level out now. Bring the power back. Level out, 4 fingers on the horizon. And then what I shall do is I shall trim. Watching the coast here, I'm looking for my pier. And I'm looking for landmarks here. So if I trim the nose down a bit now. It's about there. How's that looking? Definitely at the right speed. About halfway there according to our thing. I'm going to look at the map as we've leveled out now, and I'm going to look for those landmarks that we talked about. This is the coastline here, and I've got a little bit of something that looks like that there. So if I look at my map and we move down, we see Hastings is here, and there's a little bit of build up before it, which I believe that is. I need to keep it on my left sufficiently that I can see it. I'm still watching out for him. Seem to have a nice stable altitude now, which is good, and I'm stable at 110 knots, which is fine. It's a little bit fast, but it's within the safety tolerance of the airplane. Right, this looks like Hastings to me, because just beyond it is Bexhill-on-Sea. We should see a small pier here. Okay, see this little outcropping here? That outcropping, okay, where's that? What's that look like? It's this here. Aha. Right, so that's that there, and then further down should be the pier. Except I think with the settings that I have, or whatever, for whatever reason, I don't think it registers that pier. So I know I'm in the right place. I recognise the outcropping. I recognise Hastings. So what I can do now is go back to my charts. 4 minutes and 54 seconds. We're about a minute ahead. Don't know how that's happened, but that's kind of what we've done. We're at 4,000, oh, we're a bit below 4,500 feet now, so need to get my altitude under control. Up the power a little bit. Okay, that's arrested that descent. Okay, cool. So, and we're nearly at 4 minutes 54. So continue following the coastline, heading 254 degrees. So we'll line us up for 254. Past Bexhill until you reach Pevensey Bay. You'll spot the beach flanked by houses. That's 4 minutes 54 seconds at 110 knots. It's another 9 nautical miles. So we're going to stop the stopwatch, reset, go again. Oh, we're getting a little bit off course here, so I'm going to turn back now to 254. Now this piece of beach here, I believe, is Pevensey Bay. I'm going to confirm that with a map look. So if I move down, I can see that Pevensey Bay is here. Yeah. And I can see the houses here as well. So I'm going to try 254. That's about right. Pop the throttle down a little bit because I'm at risk of gaining too much altitude there. 100. What I'm going to do at this point of the flight now, I'm going to take just a moment to myself. So I've positively confirmed Pevensey. I think these times are a little bit messed up. I don't think it's going to take me anywhere near 4 minutes to parallel Pevensey. So I'm going to enjoy the view a second. Our friend over there seems to be going the same way we are, which is interesting. I would say I wonder if he wants company, but I don't want. this is serious stuff. I don't want to deviate from my flight plan. That's Pevensey there, where the coast starts to turn out right there. So when we get there, we'll begin the next leg. Now, I'm just going to do a quick engine check. So green pressures, green temperatures, amps are good, green fuel pressure, we are good, and we got fuel in both tanks. What I am going to do shortly, in fact just before this next leg, I'm going to switch to the other tank. There we go, tank is switched. Now you might be wondering, why don't you just use the autopilot? That would be easier, but I'm also trying to practice, get the hang of using the aircraft as well, and it's a simulator, so it's all about the practice. So that's why I'm not using the autopilot today. I might use it in the future if I've got like a longer flight and I'm doing like more navigation, then I think I will. Okay, I'm just getting a bit nervous about him now because he might also be going to Shoreham, so we're just going to have to be a little bit careful of that one. 3 minutes. We are doing about 110 knots, just a shade over. So 4 minutes and 54 seconds I think is a bit optimistic. I think we're at any minute now we're going to be over Pevensey. So what's next? 263 degrees inland until you rejoin the coast. So over there. Along this leg you'll fly over Eastbourne and into open ground. You'll pass Seaford on your left hand side. Before finally reaching Newhaven. You'll know you found Newhaven when you notice the breakwater jutting out into the sea. That is 12 nautical miles, 6 minutes 32 seconds at 4,500 feet. Okay, so here's Pevensey now. I'm going to reset the stopwatch. So we're looking for 6 minutes 32 seconds, and we should be heading 263 degrees. There we go, 263. Here we go. And we are looking for Newhaven. Sorry, Peacehaven. Newhaven, there we go. And there's the breakwater that we're looking for. So if this is Eastbourne here, Seaford exists somewhere around here, and then this should be Peacehaven and Newhaven. So, and I think I can actually see that breakwater starting to emerge. Altitude settle back down, that's good, 4,500. Okay, we're doing good. We are doing good. Let's see, let's have a little look around. Make sure we've not got any airplanes we're not expecting. No, we're good. Take a bit of time to enjoy the scenery and the clouds. We should be at 263, 24, 25, 263. That's about 263. Right, there's our breakwater there. That's what we're making for. I'm going to pull us a bit closer to the coast here for the next leg because I don't want us drifting too far off course. Because I've got visual confirmation of it, I know that I can head there and that could be my next waypoint. This is some beautiful countryside here. So at 4,500 feet, we're maintaining good separation from the clouds above us, so we shouldn't be running into those. We may have to make a decision if they start to travel downwards. If the weather changes, then okay. I've got another airplane there. I've got another one there. They are both traveling below me. So if they're following VFR, they'll be traveling at 2,500. Although if they're not, they could be at any altitude, so we'll just be conscious of that. We're actually going faster than 110 knots, which means we're going to reach our target of Newhaven a little bit faster than I thought we were. So that's Newhaven there. So what's the next leg? Once you clear the River Ouse running through Newhaven, this would be the River Ouse here. Begin heading 287 degrees en route to Brighton. You have reached your next waypoint when you parallel Brighton Marina. So what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to bring us a little bit closer to the waterfront, because I happen to know for a fact that if we want to enter the left downwind of Shoreham here, we're going to want to be closer to the sea. So I'm kind of thinking 3 steps ahead here if I can. Right, here's New Haven, and we're going to parallel the River Ouse. And then we're going to be travelling for another 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Quick engine check, oil temp's good, pressure's good. Fuel pressure's good, suction is good. Okay, we're looking good. Just had a horrifying thought. I did bring my gear up, didn't I? Yeah, I did, yeah. Just flying along all this time with my gear sat down. Now, I know it says to wait till the next step to descend to 2,500 feet, but I don't want to have a hectic descent. Oh, but then we're travelling over Brighton and I need to remain free and clear of that. Okay, we've hit coastline here. We've hit 6 minutes on the timer, so I'm going to stop that. Reset it. Start it again. 3 minutes 16 seconds, heading 287 degrees. Now turning to heading 287. 26, 27. 287, there we go. It's basically aiming for the beach. Right, what I want to do now is I'm going to begin my descent down to 2,500. Really wish I could get this kneeboard a bit further away from me. I'm going to power right down and I'm going to orchestrate a gentle descent. I've got him over here, there's nothing in front of me at the moment, so I can begin that descent. Okay, we're dropping now, so that's good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to early tune Shoreham ATIS, so let's get the comms up while we're waiting. We should be 3 minutes and 16 seconds on this leg. What's the next part we're looking for? Taking a parallel Brighton. This is a short leg that will end when the east end of the River Ada is reached. So here's the marina, and there is the famous Brighton Pier. So as soon as we parallel Brighton, that's a big place. I mean, that's not a good instruction. So lesson for me there when I'm setting these flights up. So I'm going to nearest airport list. Shoreham, EGKA, ATIS. We want the altimeter setting. So it's Tune Shoreham Tower.
Shoreham Airport information Tango 0800 Zulu. Wind 270 at 5. Visibility, Niner. Sky condition, ceiling 6,400.
Why is it still giving me ATIS when I change the tower? Okay, I'll turn that down. Now that we've got to the river, this is the river here. Right, okay, that's where we're 4 minutes and 10. We've gone a little bit over here, so that's not good. 271 as we parallel Brighton. This is a short leg which will end at the east end of the Ada is reached. So actually we're already on the second leg and heading towards the Ada. I still need to be down at 2,500 feet. 3,000, 2,500 feet. I'm about to hit that. Where's my guy on the left? Where's my guy on the right? He's over there. So I'm going to... There we go, we're going to balance this out now. Pull up, we're going to get maximum revs because we're below 3,000 feet. We're going to settle this out, make sure we make for there. We're going a little bit too fast, so I want to slow that down. Shoreham should be in sight soon because there's the river. Shoreham's directly ahead of it, so we need to contact tower and request permission for a full stop landing. Watching where that other guy is.
Shoreham Tower Piper Golf Echo 9er Bravo Foxtrot is 3 miles east, 2,400 feet with Tango to land.
Enter left base runway 20.
At 5. Enter left base runway 20.
runway 20 is this one, so left base. Left base. Okay, so because it's left base, we're almost directly over the runway now. So what I'm going to do
Shoreham approach Cessna Foxtrot, Lima Tango,
is I'm
Quebec,
going to turn out to the seaside here, and I'm going to begin,
Foxtrot, Lima Tango, Quebec, Yankee Shoreham
once I'm
approach
clear of the airport
altimeter
pattern, I'm going
290
to
continue as
descend.
planned. Piper 9er Bravo Foxtrot, did you hear my last transmission? Cessna Zulu Echo Delta.
I'd acknowledge you if you weren't talking all the time.
118 decimal for 75. Good day. Shoreham approach Cessna Golf, Victor Yankee Tango X-ray 3100.
Busy today, aren't we?
Cessna Golf, Victor Yankee Tango X-ray Shoreham approach altimeter 29er decimal 9er 2 continue as planned.
Enter left base runway 20 Piper
Right.
9er Bravo Foxtrot.
Left base.
Skyhawk inside.
Right, okay. So what I've done is I've done a big loop here because it's safe to do so. I can't see any other airplanes in where I'm doing, so I'm gonna, now I've got sight of the airport, I'm gonna stop that, reset it, switch back to the time, and there's our ups. Right, so we need to make sure that we are base. We need to get down. I think that's wrong. So we need to get down to 1500 feet now. So I'm going to pull the power out. Get us down to 15. Now this hill here is an obstruction and we need to be careful of it. There's our runway there. And we're looking at 45 degrees in the rear view mirror because I'm flying parallel to the downwind. I'm not actually on the downwind yet.
The Yankee traffic is 4 o'clock for miles at 1,000 feet Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
Kind of am, aren't I? But there's no one around me. So ideally a base join, I would come across these hills. So I think I need to adjust this flight plan to make it a bit safer. Oh, crumbs.
Piper 9er Bravo Foxtrot, please acknowledge. Cessna Kilo
Oh
Delta
my
Yankee
goodness,
has
every
the traffic.
time I go to acknowledge.
Cleared to land runway 20 Piper 9er
Right,
Bravo
we're getting to
Foxtrot.
1500 now.
Cessna Golf Hotel Delta have the Cessna Skyhawk in sight.
So we made a little bit of a hash of the approach. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zero out the trim like that. Ready for the approach. I'm going to put revs back to 100.
118 decimal for 75. Good day.
Okay, so runway is now a good 45 degrees in my rear view. We need to
118 decimal 475 for
balance
Cessna
out
Charlie
the... I'm
Mike
going to shut that for now because it's just distracting. Shutting it I probably shouldn't have done. I probably should have moved it. Okay, concentrate. What do we need to do for landing? Landing lights need to be on. Fuel pump's been on this whole time because I'm a moron. Pitot heat needs to come off. Mixture and props need to be to 100.
8 o'clock for miles at 1,000 feet Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
So I'm going to make my turn now onto base.
Cessna Golf Echo Zulu traffic
We're way
is 1
too
o'clock
low.
for miles at 1,100 feet Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight.
Right, so speed-wise, we need to get our speed down
Zulu Zulu Tango Alpha 3,400 feet.
so I can deploy the gear. Gear, we are safe enough for gear.
Alpha Bravo contact Gatwick approach on 129er decimal 025.
So, I'm going to pull up a little bit. Runway 20 is what we're approaching. I can see it from here.
Yankee have the traffic.
We're at 1500.
129er decimal 025 Cessna November Alpha Bravo.
Right,
Cessna
so...
Golf Hotel Delta traffic is 9 o'clock for miles
Crumbs, I'm
at
doing a
800
terrible
feet
job of
Cessna
this.
Skyhawk.
Right, we need...
Report them in sight.
Our airspeed needs to come down enough. Right. Gear is down. There we go. First stage of flaps is in. I've overshot the runway on my base. This is... Okay, concentrate.
Cessna Golf Echo Zulu
That
traffic
radio
in
is
sight.
doing my head in. It's just something you don't get in the tutorial, so it's like something you don't think that will be an issue. So power-wise, I'm fine at the moment. Maybe a bit more, because we're actually reducing our altitude, and I kind of want to balance that out. Okay, so I'm going to get lined up on the runway. Wind is going to be approaching from my right-hand side, because it was 270. So it's from the west. So it's going to blow me from right to left here. Right, I want to reduce altitude now. And we're going to manage that down. So I'm going a little bit too fast already. So what I want to do is I want to add another stage of flaps now. And I want to reduce my power because I don't want to climb. I want to be coming down now. So, but I want to manage it appropriately. So I'm going to pull up a little bit. Right, I'm going to fix a point in the runway and I'm going to keep it on the runway. I'm going to keep it in my windscreen. That's the aim. I'm going to get over to the left a little bit. Try not to ride the rudder too much. Okay, looking around, one last look around, we're good. Gear is down, landing lights are on, fuel pump is on. Everything else will disaster recovery when we get on the ground. Now, taking some power out. Because we're a little high.
Report them in sight. Generic Mike Tango uniform traffic is 1 o'clock 4 miles at 500 feet Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight. Shoreham approach Cessna Foxtrot Lima X-ray Echo Foxtrot.
A little bit high on this approach. Do we abort or do we go for it? I've got the right speed. I think I can do this.
29.902 continue as planned. Cessna Golf Golf Sierra traffic is 9 o'clock 4 miles at 1,400 feet Cessna Skyhawk.
Run the runway.
Report them in sight.
That was a bit rough. Power's out.
Romeo has a generic in sight.
Get on the line. Okay, it's not my finest landing ever. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are down. Thank you kindly. Yes, I'm going to exit the runway when I'm able, so let's make sure that we get slowed down all the way. The power's all the way out, so that's fine. And we're going to turn here, so we don't make ourselves an obstruction or a hold up. And brake. Parking brake on. We're clear of the runway, so acknowledge the ground handoff.
123.155 for Piper 9er Bravo Foxtrot.
Hopefully there's no poor soul stuck behind us at the moment. So we're going to do after landing. Flaps need to come up. Like that. I'm going to get a little bit of RPM in so we can get moving. Request taxi. No. Taxi depart.
Shoreham ground, Piper Golf, Echo 9er, Bravo
Right, get
Foxtrot
that permission
taxi
going.
to parking.
Flaps are up.
Generic Mike Tango uniform traffic is 10 o'clock 4 miles at 1,100 feet Cessna Skyhawk. Report them in sight. Piper Golf Echo 9er Bravo Foxtrot taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Bravo Alpha.
Taxiway Bravo Alpha copy.
Shoreham approach Cessna Golf Tango Lima Lima Foxtrot.
We need to turn off our strobes, anti-collision, because it's too bright for the ground.
Tango Lima Lima Foxtrot is cleared
That's the
to
thing I
order
remember.
airport and filed. Climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
So on the charts, we need to open up Shoreham and find out where Bravo Alpha is. So Bravo is there. We're already off at Alpha, so Alpha through.
Generic Mike Tango uniform traffic is 9 o'clock.
I would ignore it if you'd stop talking. It's so infuriating. There you go.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Bravo Alpha Piper 9er Bravo Foxtrot.
Right, so we need to go to the apron over here near the helipads.
At 1,100 feet Cessna Skyhawk.
Right, so done that. Auxiliary boost pump can now go off.
Cessna Echo Hotel Romeo traffic is 10 o'clock 4 miles at 1,100 feet Cessna Skyhawk.
So I turn that down now so I don't get enraged even further. Elevator trim reset to neutral, which I already did in the middle of the flight.
Cessna Echo Hotel Romeo have the Cessna Skyhawk.
Just make sure it's definitely neutral. Perfect. Alright, let's go. Let's taxi us in.
75.
Right, helipads are here on my left, so the apron is here on my right. Apologies for not talking there for a minute, I kind of zoned out. Spaced out. That's not good.
Shoreham approach Cessna Foxtrot,
Right.
Kilo Romeo
So,
Bravo, 5,300 feet.
this is our apron.
Cessna Foxtrot,
I'm not
Kilo
seeing our
Kilo
usual
Romeo
guys
Bravo,
like waving at me like, come park over here, come park over here. So,
as planned.
I'm just gonna like taxi round, find myself somewhere nice,
Contact Gatwick approach
and we'll get this thing spun down.
Good day. Cessna Golf Golf Sierra contact London Center on 118 decimal for 75.
Should we park near the juice?
118 decimal 905 for Cessna Bravo Papa Delta. 118 decimal for 75 Cessna Papa Lima Sierra.
Guessing you meant to park on these lines. Don't look like the usual taxi lines. So in case anyone was wondering, this is a stock airport. This isn't an aftermarket one. You probably noticed because of all those little, you know, the blue lights are in the runway and these buildings that look like, frankly, they look like they're made out of like chipboard. But yeah, this is like a stock airport. If I do more flying here, I may end up investing in Shoreham. So there we are, safely on the ground, back at Shoreham. I just want to say a big thanks for joining me today. I've had a really good flight. It's been interesting trying out my first ever VFR flight, like outside of a tutorial. I think it's been challenging. There's definitely things I can improve on, like 100%. I can pick out lots of different things, and I bet when I'm editing this video I'll watch it back and go, oh, you did that, I can't believe you did that. If you like this sort of content, then subscribe to the channel for more great artificial aviation content, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.